So, have you ever had a loved one in your life who's a fearful avoidant and you're not sure if they're upset and you really want to know so you can get to the bottom of things or resolve things, but you can't tell what's going on? Or have you had the experience of being a fearful avoidant and being upset about something and found yourself as a result icing somebody out or stonewalling them or being passive aggressive, but not actually discussing the issue? So, in this video, I'm going to cover why this happens and what you can do about it, both from the fearful avoidant perspective, or if you're the loved one of a fearful avoidant, some things you can do to encourage conscious conversation. So, first and foremost, one of the biggest reasons this happens is because fearful avoidants are taught growing up essentially and not purposefully, but are taught growing up that their needs won't get met. And this is taught indirectly through different forms of conditioning. So there's this video I watched once on YouTube, and I'm sure you can look it up and find it, but it's kind of a sad video. And it's this video of an elephant being tied to a tree. And it's like this little baby elephant, and the elephant's yanking at the tree and yanking at the tree. And then it can't get out of the like it can't escape. It's tied to the tree. And later on, it shows these big elephants, these huge elephants tied to these little trees that were the same size that the original baby elephant was tied to. And you see the elephant like try to yank or you see the big elephant after seeing the baby elephant really trying to yank the tree and just getting stuck there. And this big elephant could literally just yank the tree once, and the tree would like come flying out of the ground, most likely, based on the size of the tree versus the size of the elephant. And the elephant doesn't try, it doesn't bother. And what this represents is a sad video, but it represents conditioning. It represents that when you, through repetition and emotion, get taught that this is the outcome, this is the outcome, this is the outcome, your subconscious mind basically imprisons itself with that idea. It believes this is how it is. And I think that video, as awful as it is, really illustrates um, what happens to literally children going into their adult lives and the way that we adopt conditioned patterns. So, what I mean by this is if you're a child and you grow up in a home, and perhaps because of the chaos as a fearful avoidant, there's not room for your needs to be truly seen and heard and understood and met consistently. You get conditioned to think my needs won't be met, so why bother? Just like the baby elephant. And what ends up taking place as a result long term is that you don't try to bring your needs into relationships. And so as a result of that, you may find yourself in these kind of why bother situations where it's like, well, why am I even going to try to communicate my needs and put them out there? And so I'll withdraw completely instead. So some symptoms that you'll see um, in terms of how this sort of plays out is you may find yourself when there's a conflict or something bothering you, doing different things like withdrawing completely, icing people out strongly, being passive aggressive in subtle ways, sort of having like a bit of an attitude. And what that actually represents is that there's emotional energy within you that you need to deal with and discuss and share. Maybe somebody violated a boundary, or maybe somebody hurt you somehow and you want to address it. But your subconscious mind is basically blocking you, going, no, 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 you can't. It won't work anyways. And that leads to a couple of different things from a fearful avoidant perspective. This withdrawing to protect, because you're trying to withdraw from the person or situation that you perceive to be causing you pain. But because fearful avoidants aren't good at keeping that emotion down for too long, often that emotion comes out in different ways long term, either about the direct thing that was causing the conflict, like the person violating your boundary, or towards the person who violated your boundary, but about something else completely different. And what has to be done here is we want to be able to acknowledge and see, hey, I'm upset, and I have to be able to address the things that are causing me to be upset at a root level. And in doing so, especially through healthy, empowered communication, I'm able to actually resolve those things, and my emotional energy sort of stabilizes, and I feel more calm and safe with that person as a result. Or if somebody's really unhealthy and constantly violating boundaries, maybe you set a boundary with the person instead of in the situation, but hopefully you're able to resolve things through communication if that other person is willing to participate with you. So some things you'll see if the FA is upset and not telling you is like the withdrawing completely, icing out, all these different dynamics. And then eventually often there's a bit of a volatile outburst. It's like a volcano, all that emotional tension and energy builds, and then eventually it comes out in some kind of way or another. Now, if you want to work through this dynamic, either as the FA or the loved one of an FA, first of all, if you're the loved one of an FA, you want to encourage them to communicate. You want to call them out on their behavior, say that I see you, not call them out in a bad way, right? Call them out and say, hey, I can tell you're upset. I notice you're pulling back or icing me out or withdrawing from me. And I'm here to talk about whatever it is. I would love for you to come forward and tell me what's upsetting you. And I'm here to resolve it with you. Or if you are the FA and you catch yourself doing this, you want to notice, okay, I'm clearly upset with this person. What do I want the actual outcome to be? Do I want to just fight about something else, totally different? Or do I want to go underneath here, see what's causing this, and address it so that we can come to a healthy resolution? And in doing that, you ideally want to talk about what caused the situation, what your perception was, and what you need to feel relief. So, hey, yes, I am withdrawing. It's because I felt that a boundary was crossed earlier. And from my perception, I felt disrespected because of that, even if that's not what you intended. And I really need you to honor my boundaries going forward, right? So you really want to hit those three things on the head, and that empowers healthy communication. Now, if you want to do a much deeper dive into practicing healthy communication, I have a course you can check out for free for 14 days called the Conflict Resolution Course. It's such an important course for fearful avoidance specifically because it allows you to understand how to deal with all that emotional tension and energy that feels really bad to carry, and how to sort of like alchemize it into healthy communication. And you actually get so much relief when you take that tension and frustration and you're like, okay, what am I feeling? What am I needing? How can I communicate it? And that whole course helps you do that. So it becomes second nature, which then empowers healing and communication in your relationships and a tremendous amount of growth, but also emotional regulation and relief for you as a person. So really powerful to pay attention to, also really powerful to practice if you're the loved one of a fearful avoidant, because leading the way and communicating is so valuable. And often when there's healthy communication, that's a natural part of that relationship. One person's bringing it in, usually the other person jumps on board. So very valuable to dig into. And that's it for today. Let me know any questions you have down below about different communication steps or things that you see yourself doing when you're upset and feeling afraid to say anything. And please, if you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and that's it for today. I will see you in the next video.